Sabahan. So don't get confused when these PCS people saying this. It's not like they know what they're doing. They don't. Okay? They are too focused into wrestling the power. They forgot who they are working with. So that's why this guy, we haven't blown this out yet. But this is the culprit. So we can say, safely say that in as far as the Sabah claim is concerned, it's nothing. No claim. The problem is our Wisma Putra is dragging their feet. They never mention annexation in their statement. Look at all their statement. Look at Hishamuddin's statement. First, they pressure Shafi'i to make a statement. Shafi'i makes statement, runding lah. Hishamuddin come in and say, apa rundik-rundik? Isn't it? So they purposely do it. As if we don't know what they're doing. So that one, nothing. Okay? We can go to Wisma Putra later on and slap them on this. We can say, your father failed because after 57 years, your father failed, you failed. You shouldn't be sitting down there. Huh? So this one, the Philippine claim, out. Okay? Now, common misleading political statement that they have been throwing around. They even pay kampung people to say bad about warisan. You know, kasihan ba ini? Ini orang kampung apalah dia tahu. Tapi, you know, they pay them to say, oh, there is no help, nothing, and all that. Most common misleading. But the basic thing we are going to ask this Sabahan, especially those that is supporting UMNO, those supporting PN, PBS, STAR, and PCS. We are going to ask these people, you are a Sabahan, and yet you are prepared to work together with Malaya to take power from Sabahan. How can a Sabahan do this? You're a Sabahan, ma. You don't need to be together with Malaya to go and whack Sabah punya leaders to take away his power. Gila. You know these people for 57 years. Temberang bohong, rompak, curi, semua ada. Even the leaders sudah kena hukum di mahkamah. Masih lagi jalan-jalan kempen. Macam? Bosku. Masih lagi pusing-pusing. Lepas tu kau mau undi lagi dia. Kau sudah tahu, Pak. Kau mau undi lagi dia. Kau sudah tahu, Pak. Kalau kau tidak tahu, barangkali lah. Ini newspaper semua ada, Pak. Saya tidak takut mau cakap dia pencuri. Pasal dia sudah kena hukum. Kan kah? Kalau dia belum kena hukum, saya cakap saya salah. Ini dia sudah kena hukum, saya cakap saya tidak salah. So, meaning to say, kesian bagi kita ini. 57 tahun. Why saya bilang 57 tahun dorang semua ini bohong, lepas itu dorang sokong. Kamu orang tengok saja. Itu rekod jalan. Di Sabah kita ada 10,000 kilometers of seal roads. 10,000. Sarawak ada 19,000 kilometers of seal roads. Di Malaya, 131,000 kilometers of seal road. Siapa yang buat tuh? Dari mana dia dapat duit? 95% of kita punya minyak diorang ambil. Bukan enggak? Kita tidak nampak ini. Nampak. Oke, saya ambil lagi satu contoh. Kita punya juru rawat. Very important service. Kita punya juru rawat. Postnatal, prenatal, postnatal services, semua orang bagi untuk orang kampung-kampung. They have to walk 20 kilometers square to service dia punya klinik. Naik bukit, turun bukit. Kalau kamu orang pernah jalan di kampung-kampung, kamu orang tahulah. Bila kau bilang di mana itu tempat, tuh sana apa dia bilang. Itu 2 bukit saja, bah. Kau menaiklah itu bukit, kau tengok. Kalau kau tidak pisan. And they have to do this 20 kilometers square. Satu kita punya nurse yang jaga itu di klinik desa. Alright? Di Malaya, less than 10 kilometers square. Tiada bukit-bukit. Tiada sungai. Kau boleh naik kancil round-round. Gaji sama juga. Gaji sama juga. Jadi apa yang diorang cakap dari dulu, diorang bawa pembangunan. Kau duduk diam-diam di Putrajaya pun jadi juga tuh barang. It doesn't mean kau yang bawa itu pembangunan, kau bawa pembohongan. Nothing new. This is what Sabahan has been suffering. I can talk about doctors, I can talk about teachers. So many examples. Apalagi dorang mau temberang, 57 years. Kalau tidak itu evidence kah 57 years? You must be really stupid. We have all the evidence. So apa dorang mau cakap? Dorang bawa pembangunan kah? Macam Muhyiddin datang sini cakap, oh Sabah banyak sumber, kamu orang perlu itu persekutuan untuk bangun ini sumber. Bangun ini sumber atau kau ambil? Diambil lah. Bukan dia mau bangun ini sumber. Kelantan hidup juga. 40 tahun bah. Tiada persekutuan sana, hidup Kelantan. Macam tu. Sabah tidak boleh hidup kah? Selangor, Penang, hidup juga. Tiada persekutuan juga. Yes, sir. Tidak. I look at LDP, I look at what they're doing. They're actually not using Malaya. Itu dia punya difference. Ini semua ini ikut. Termasuk si Gapari. Gapari is Jeffrey lah. Di GPRS dalam Pokici, Pak. Satu saja dah. Dia bergantung-gantung saja itu. So, tapi ini yang the main one. Ini yang the main one. So, 57 years. Tipu. 57 years. Ambil dari kita. Bukan kasih balik. Kalau kasih balik, kita punya jalan tidak begitu kecil. Kan? Kita punya jalan cuma boleh angkat 38 tan saja. Diorang punya jalan 50 tan. Tapi diorang mati-mati bilang kita punya jalan mahal. Pasal diorang mau itu duit. Diorang mau pegang itu duit. Begitu juga macam kita punya Sabah State Railway. Itu Sabah State Railway. Tapi kereta api Tenal Melayu yang kasih bikin itu trek baru. Bukan dia bikin trek baru. The same. Gauge the same. 3 kaki. Okay? Itu rail the same. Dia ambil yang dulu punya rail, dia taruh sana. Tapi berapa dia charge? 360 million. Kita punya kontraktor boleh bikin lagi bagus. Nah, itu begitu orang mencuri, menembirang, menipu. Mau lagi kasih undi sama dorang? Saya tidak tahu lah. Hah? Itulah. Semua dorang perjanjian, tapi satu orang pun tidak pernah saya nampak attend saya punya talk. Kamu orang lagi pandai kasih tahu sebenarnya daripada di orang sendiri. Actually, because you have been attending my talk, di orang satu orang pun tidak pernah. Dia mau tembirang juga, dia sudah baca itu buku. You have not attended my talk, kau baca itu buku, kau tembirang lah itu. Tiada orang beli baca itu buku terus paham. So, itu So itu, this one, we have to make people aware. Jangan lagi kamu orang kena tipu. Ini semua tembirang. Ya. Yes, exactly. Itulah kau kena berkampung di Putrajaya to meet with them. You see, beginilah ini orang-orang. And then semua ini orang-orang terpengaruh. Boleh terpengaruh. Jawatan dan uang. Saya ambil contoh. Jeffrey Kittingan. Okay? Dia tahu tourism is illegal. Dia tahu. Bukan dia tidak tahu. Dia sendiri cakap itu cukai hotel dari tourism is illegal. Tapi bila dia kena offer, itu jawatan timbalan menteri, terus diangkat. Macam. Kan? You are a person with a commitment, bah. Kasih tunjuk kau punya komitmen, bah. Is the timbalan menteri so great? Nothing, bah. But you are willing to destroy kau punya struggle just for that. Ayo. And jawatan. Shouldn't. So, itulah yang ini semua ini. Now, that is common misleading. Ada orang buat ini sudah simple strategy. Safi ada government advantage, which no opposition has. Government advantage, you are in the government. Okay? You can make a lot of things if you know how. And one of the things that dia mau buat di dalam ini is inclusiveness. A lot of people bilang itu civil servant mostly dari Sempurna. But he has proven them wrong. State Secretary diambil orang Kedayan itu. Orang Kedayan dari Beaufort. Land Survey Director, Chinese bah? Itu SUT ya. Setiausaha Tetap Kementerian Keuangan dan Bendahari. Dusun dari Ranau. Tiada sempurna pun. And we managed to get the things going. A bit slow, but it's going. A lot of people say, oh COVID-19, boom, kau punya ekonomi jatuh. Betul lah, di mana dalam dunia tidak jatuh. But it doesn't mean we don't have money. Because most of the contractors for Petronas, kan, that has been working for Petronas but exporting also crude petroleum, they are paying sales tax. Petronas now, since they have paid Sarawak, they must pay Sabah. So that's another payment. So meaning to say, cash wise, Sabah is quite well to do. Because ini cash total is about 3 billion. Our budget per year is 4 billion. This is 3 billion. Belum kira lagi itu yang quit rent lah, apa-apa semua itu. So it doesn't mean we don't have money. We have the money. It's just that we are not saying it out loud. Kau imagine tu YB semua duduk depan Chief Minister punya office. Mati kau tidak buat kerja. But that's the truth. So we can pay salary. We can have a small development here and there. It doesn't mean we dry up and we die. No, we don't. I can assure you. I've seen all the letters. Okay? So don't worry about that. That is inclusiveness and what we were doing. Land. Land is very important for people. Very close to their heart and very important to them. So what is the most important thing? A lot of land has been on hold. So the title is on hold. Some of the people waited 40 years. So Safi decided, hey, look, if it is their land, give it to them lah. Why do you want to keep it? Want to wait for middlemen to collect money for you? What for? Give it to them. It's theirs. And there are kampongs in the, what do you call this? In the forest reserve. Kampong in the forest reserve, which have been there for donkey years. And some of these people have grown up, become YBs, but still go back to that kampong as quarters. So, the Warisan government decided to take it out, extract it from the forest reserve, give it to the kampong reserve for the people. So, give it to them. Right? The other thing on land is that ini dulu punya pengarah, punya idea. When you are 99, you want to subdivide, or you want to transfer, you want to do anything that is not from the original. They reduce the title list from 999 to 99. People brought them to court. Court have already decided. It should be reverted. It should be returned to 999. Why do you want to keep it in your desk? Why can't you just return it to them? Because different value, ba. Different value, you get different amount of money, ba, from the bank, ba. You can do more business, ba. Especially the Chinese can do more business, ba. Why not give it to them? They do more business, you also get it, ba. But these people doesn't want to think that way. They want to think, oh, you want to make money, huh? I think I better make money up front. So I will send my macai there. Tell you, you want it to pay like this, you pay so much. Itu pasal dorang simpan dalam laci. We don't want that. We want the whole economy to grow. How to make it grow? Give you money. If you got 99, you got less money. You have 999, you have more money. You have more money, you have bigger business, which is good for Sabah. It's as simple as that. It's good for Sabah. So, give. Why want to hold on it? So, that's why the land, some of the land, I give 5,000 altogether, given back the 999. There is more coming. Don't worry. And what is more? Most of the TL and the CL are expiring. Look over your title. Who keep title, better look over. See how many years you got. Okay? most of the titles are expiring. 30 years, 60 years, 99 years, expiring. So when expire, you have to renew. When you renew, you have to pay different premium. That premium will kill you. If they calculate the actual premium, it will kill you. So, the point is, you are government advantage. You can reduce the premium. Isn't it? When you reduce the premium, you can have asset. That is money. You know? Bukan macam ini orang Melayu lah. Dia dapat itu aset, dia jual sama Cina. Lepas itu Cina beli sama dia. Dia kawin 1-2 lagi. Kan kah? But if you give it to a Chinese, he will have to double it or triple it. Kalau tidak malu. Kan kah? When he double it and triple it, that means kita punya ekonomi double, triple. Nampak? I don't have to push you down. I just release you. Let you grow. And I grow. So. Ini macam apa? Huh? So, that is coming. Huh? The renewal. Look at Kampung Air. Look at the shops. Look at Kolombong. Look at the industrial estate. Most of these areas are going to expire. So, housing. Most of the housing, Luyang, more expire. So, this, we see this. We see this happening. Okay? So, the renewal of land. So, we see that coming. And we are also taking action on it. All right? So, that's about it on this. If you have any other questions that or issues that you want to raise, I am more than happy to answer.
In 1946, when it's okay, when the annexation was given to the British Dominion, it is done by the British government.
It's the British Crown, yes. It was done. It was done through order in council. They call it order in council. Just like alteration of boundaries, North Borneo alteration of boundaries, 1954, that extend our territory, Sabah territory, to include the continental shelf, which is 350 miles, right? But the federal government, using the state of emergency, reduces these 350 miles through to 3 nautical miles. This is what they keep on harping about, 3 nautical miles. All right? They cannot do that. Under international law, they cannot do that. But under emergency, they can. But the thing is, emergency expired on the 24th of November 2011. So when it expired, lifted, that means the 3 nautical mile, no more. So we go back to 350 miles. But the federal government, because they have already tested how sweet our wealth is, they don't want to give back. Now, if you want me to discuss on the 21 issues, and 17 already agreed, I don't have it all here, but I can speak some part of it, right? Some part of it. The first part, actually, they already chopped OSA, so that we cannot speak. But there is nothing wrong for me to explain to you the history. I'm not talking about what was discussed in Putrajaya. I'm talking about the history of how they take this, and then they lose it, and then they create another law to take it back. So that's the 4 issues which We were supposed to discuss, but they don't want to discuss. They split the issue into two, the four issues, the oil and gas. They split it into two. Ownership issues, they don't want to discuss. They only want to discuss the business arrangement. Meaning to say, we talk to Petronas about business arrangement. Ownership, they don't want to talk about it. This is federal government. Yeah. Yeah.
I think all the people from Malaya that come to work in Sabah and Sarawak, they need work pass.
Yes.
Correct, huh? Even in government department. When you need a work pass, in my interpretation is, we are a separate country itself already lah.
Already.
Correct, huh?
Yes.
So that is how I interpret it, so I'm right. Now the other question is, if that is the case, then the state government of Sabah and Sarawak should, by all means, reduce the number of semi-qualified Malayan coming here to work lah. Sorry for me to use such extreme words, because they didn't come to help us.
No.
If they come to help us, they would send people that graduate from Oxford, Cambridge, MITs and all this, Harvard University. They send us people that also...
Drivers and office boys.
Our own people also went to study in Malaya and graduated and can do the jobs that they send. So my point is, the Sabah government and the Sarawak government should reduce the number of people from Malaya working here in Petronas and in government departments, in particular Petronas. So if they have 0 people working here from Malaya, you can ask them who is the owner of this oil and gas that is found in the offshore of Sabah and Sarawak. There is no need to argue with them who own it. We can actually tell them not to come, or we don't need to give them work pass.
Yeah, but
Why the state government is not, we don't say threaten them lah, tell them we will not renew people from there to work in the oil and gas.
I think Adnan Satem did that. He did that once, where they start moving. You know, in Miri, the Petronas people are not allowed to go through Miri to go to their terminal. What they did was, first they used Jalan Tikus, meaning to say they hide and steal from Miri, they go to the Pelantar. Then they were caught. They moved to Labuan. So they moved their people from Labuan to the Pelantar. So that's how they circumvent Adnan Satem. We are going to be facing the same thing, because as long as we don't declare, we don't really have it, it is ours, okay, it's a bit difficult to take it back. So by hook or by crook, we must take it back as ours. So meaning to say, in this context, we may have to go to international court, because this is going to get involved international law. It's no more Malaysian law. So we don't go to the federal court. We go to international court. That's the only way to do it.
So the Sabah government and Sarawak government should voice this out. But unfortunately, I think in the last episode, the Sarawak government agreement with Petronas was not even revealed. So I hope Sabah government will take a step further than what has developed in Sarawak.
In actual fact, Sarawak, you remember I wrote an article, I said that Sarawak government is selling out. That particular write-up was because in the joint statement between Petronas and Sarawak, they mentioned that Petronas have sole ownership. Because of that, so the 2 billion paid to Sarawak government is actually a sellout. That's why they stopped. They stopped for a while. They stopped for a while and they start backing off. And everybody have to answer me that it wasn't a sellout, including the Speaker of the House. Now, they are using a different tack. They are saying because of OMO that Petronas is making the payment. Different tack. But we will see as more news comes out whether it's really like that or they try to hide. For Sabah, my advice was hold. We see what happened in Sarawak. Whatever they get, we should get. It's like that. So contractors pay there, we get paid by contractors. Now, Petronas and its subsidiaries are paying, we should be getting the same check. So it's basically like that. We don't make any promises about ownership, or we don't want to discuss about ownership, because that was holding the 4 issues of the 21 issues, the ownership. Our stand, we are the owner. Federal stand, federal the owner. So that's the situation. That's why the discussion never proceeded after that. And they want us to go and negotiate with Petronas on business arrangement on upstream and downstream. Of course, Petronas is not just going to give it to you, because they have their own macai that they got to pay. So we won't get the upstream, downstream. It should be ours. I mean, the whole lot should be ours. Petronas should get nothing. They're just a contractor. So that's our stand. Huh? Then on the 17 issues that we have discussed, we have reached a consensus, and basically we agree on it. It's like export duties on timber. You know, the reason MTIB is here, they also collect. Now, don't collect. Hasil hutan and forest, meaning, hasil pertanian dan hutanan, meaning to say, your agriculture produce, you can produce and export yourself. You don't need to go to Putrajaya to get a license for export. Your sarang burung, you can sell it direct to China. You don't need to go to Putrajaya and get a license, because those are forest produce. So we managed to get that one back. Things like fisheries, but although agreed to be given back to Sabah, the problem is you need to amend the Fisheries Act. And we cannot amend it now because you can take a look at Parliament today. They are not discussing anything, they are shouting everything. So until that one settled down, we cannot get this one through. There is also the stamp duty. All the stamp duty on land transaction will be paid to Sabah, no longer to KL. Sabah government, I mean, not KL government. So we managed to get all that. And then the most important thing why we wanted to go for the 17 is because we need those power back that we can import and export. Because like hasil hutan, agriculture and all that, we can now import and export ourselves. Why we need that? because I think at the middle of 12 Malaysia Plan, end of 12 Malaysia Plan, we are going to detach ourselves from all this Rancangan Malaysia, Rancangan Malaysia. The reason we want to detach ourselves is because we don't want to plan, implement, to service 27 million people. Malaya is 27 million people. We don't want to waste our time to service 27 million people. We want to look at Japan, to India, which is 3 billion people. We want to service that. So if we service that, we have better opportunities than service 27 million people. Then, at our back, we have BIM IAGA. BIM IAGA is 100 million people. If we don't have enough workers, we can always get it from there. So that's basically the future plan. Because after this election, we have to move to another level. We cannot simply just follow. We cannot. We have to move to another level. And that another level is we become a player in this Asian economy, not Malayan economy. That one is useless. They only take from us. They don't give back. This one give. But we have to be good. And for this purpose, we cannot 100% depend on the Malays or the Muslims to do it. We need our Chinese brothers and sisters to do it. We don't go to that market, but we can supply. You have to penetrate the market. It's going to be like that. So that is the future of Sabah. So we have to be inclusive of everybody. You see the difference? There shouldn't be any, like in Malaya, Malay supremacy and all that. Malay is not supreme. They destroy. Look at our country, 57 years. Who destroyed it? The Chinese ka? They destroyed it. So in Sabah, we don't want to walk that path. We will cut our own separate path. So this is where we are going. That's why Shafi'i started with that inclusive step.
Shafi, I met him, sitting beside him, having a coconut water with him, when he became the first CM. That was in Bukit Padang. I told him, you have become a CM. Maybe it's because of God's grace, then you become a CM. You see, and then I told him that, Shafi, you have to walk straight and do not look at your own family. Your own family will pull you down, you know, because of corruption. You know what happened in West Malaysia? Until today, very day, where is our corruption status stands? Very high. You see? But, he said, yes, Paul. Until this very day, that Chinese New Year came, I met him the second time. Shafi have a very good memories. When I was standing beside the Hakka Center, opposite there was all the YBs and all, I'm just a no one. He walked in front, the TYT behind. And he shakes no hands. You see, I have a photograph, I have a video with him. Suddenly he looked at me, he just passed over to me and shook my hand. You are still fat. He has a good memory. He said, Paul, you are still fat. He still recognized me. But until today, you know why happens? He put all his family, becomes the top man. Even the PKNS, he put his own family to become the head of PKMS with a Form 3 qualification.
That's a lie.
Yeah, that's what.
I am always at level 32.
Yeah, at level 32. But you know why? They The April they sent to me was, you know, there's Haji Asbola. Haji Asbola.
The political secretary.
Yeah, I met him. You know what he do? I sent a funder sitting in front of him, a funder from China, a funder of a Sabahan funder, a multi-billionaire. He said, I want to fund a project costing about 5 billion, and he wanted to meet a CM. You know how difficult this Bumi Putra company, a Sabahan company, with more than 6 billion cash in fund to build the project, a high-story project, Skyview story project with the Dubai project, and he can't even get to meet a CM. You want to meet a CM? How many 100,000 you spend? I want some money here, this money there. By the time you reach the top, gone.
That's why you cannot meet the CM if
Yeah.
you want to pay.
Yeah, you have to pay to go through them.
No. You don't need to. Because if you want to pay, there is a jackpot owner also want to pay. You reject. This one, you want to build a project, you want to pay, forget it. The problem with Datu Safi is this. If I want a project, I will do it from Sabah. You know, I don't need other people to give me money to build it. Then it doesn't become mine. It becomes somebody else. So, a lot of people talk about this, you know, that it is his family. As I said, okay, if you want to talk about political secretary, okay, Hasbullah is only one, okay, but there is Joanne as well. Joanne is not his family. And then there is Asgali. Asgali from Sandakan is not his family. So,
We already went through them, Joanne, Asgani, and nothing comes up, nothing pops up.
oh no.
Nothing pops up.
You see, this is the problem with a lot of people with a lot of money. Okay? They can pay themselves through. That's what they think. But they cannot get through this one. So they get angry. You see, this is the problem. I know. You know why? Because I can tell you there are hundreds of Chinese companies coming here. Okay? Just meeting me, who is a nobody. All right? Hundreds. If I were to entertain all, I am a multimillionaire, man. But you see, this is the thing about Sabah. This is why I have to respect this guy. All right? He will not accept money from anybody. This is the thing. He will tell that guy straight off. So, if they are trying to go through these people, that people, to get to him, to get the project done, it won't happen. It won't happen. All right? I also have Sarawak companies coming here to open hospitals, their branches. You know what he asked me? So kita ini, apa saja kita punya ini? You bring this from Sarawak. Okay, they open a hospital. Alright, dia orang punya klien. Apa kita dapat? Ada kita punya dokter diambil. Ada kita punya nurses orang ambil. Ini macam. Ini macam. Dia punya priority is kasih kerja orang. Itu dia punya priority.
That's why when I meet all these Haji Asbola, all these Joanne, I tell them straight away, sorry, the director is not keen to talk about all these money things. So I just push them off. I never continue for the project.
Yeah, but the proposer must propose how many people from Sabah will be employed. You know?
Yeah, the proposal all we have is all because this company is a Sabahan company, not a China company. It's a Sabahan Bumi Putra company, and there is a lot of Sabahan.
There is a lot of company with Bumi Putra head.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen a lot.
Yeah.
You know.
But they all done by a lot of Sabahan will be doing that.
Yeah, but we got to see the papers, the working papers. You know, not just okay. We have 5 directors. 2 from Sabah. Doesn't work. Because I can get anybody from the kampong, they just sign.
Yeah, yeah.
So we don't want that. We take a look. Out of, say, 200 workers, 200 workers, maybe 150 is from Sabah. That's a different issue. You know, that's a different issue. And then you get money, not money from, say, Sarawak to pump into here, but you pump your money into Sabah Development Bank. And Sabah Development Bank will fund this project. That's a different issue. Kita punya Sabah Development Bank dapat dulu. Gitu, Pak. Yeah, anybody else? Any questions?
Yes, we have about another 25 minutes time. So if you have any questions that you'd like to ask, this is the purpose here for you to come here. Please raise any questions that you'd like to, kalau kamu mau tanya. Kalau bukan sekarang, bila kamu mau tunggu lagi.
Ya, jangan tunggu lepas election.
Iya.
Ini sekarang lah.
Ya.
Selamat pagi, Tuan Zainal. I've heard a lot of things about you, and as I've told you earlier on, this is my second time attending, and I'm very impressed. Okay, now I want to go back to inclusiveness. I want to say something good about our Chief Minister. A lot of our people say he's suluk, pendatang, and that kind of thing. But I want to share something that is from my heart. Some 4 years ago, I was one of the committee member organizing the December Gaya Street Fair. And during those time, Chief Minister was Musa Aman. He has been Chief Minister for 10 over years. Not even one time he come and grace open the December Fair. But for our Suluk Chief Minister, after winning the election, for the past 2 consecutive years, he has come without fail. And I'm very proud of him. And last year, December, he declared December 24th a public holiday for Sabah. You know, that's a very big thing for many of us. And I don't know him personally, you know, but to me, he is the best Chief Minister Sabah ever had. My second, what do you call it? The second thing I want to talk about is last night, our dear Prime Minister announced in Sarawak he's coming to Sabah after the election to discuss about MS-63. And he proudly announced that he has appointed a minister in the Prime Minister Department, Dr. Maximus Ongkili, as one of the head to lead this MS-63 discussion. And he said he is the chairman. My question is now, for the past 5 to 6 months, Maximus Ongkili is nowhere to be seen, and all of us know that he's not well. My question is, what is your comment on this?
I think Muhyiddin is just doing political talk. No, it's nothing substantial that is going to come out of it, because you cannot appoint a minister. This is government to government. Okay? When we sign the Malaysia Agreement as an international treaty, it's the federal government, the state government of Sabah, the state government of Sarawak, and the state government of Singapore. So who represents the state government? Not the minister, but the chief minister. The prime minister represents the federal government. Chief minister of Sabah represents Sabah. Chief Minister of Sarawak represents Sarawak. That makes sense for you to discuss MA63. If it's just a simple minister, doesn't carry weight. So, this is the thing. Huh? Our Malaysia agreement is an interstate agreement. It's not head of state agreement. Malaya punya independence agreement is head of state agreement because the Sultan signed. Here, Sabah and Sarawak and Singapore and federal government is the government that signed. There is a difference. Huh? A lot of people ask, so where is the equal partnership? Agreement can only be signed by peers, meaning to say, you are at the same level. Then you sign the agreement. Otherwise, you don't sign the agreement. That's why discussing MA63, if they send Maximus Ongkile, we will send him back. Because he doesn't represent the federal government. If he is, show me the letter that you represent the federal government. Because in the context of continental shelf, we are going to talk about ownership. How can you talk about ownership when you don't represent the federal government? Cannot. So it must be the federal government. Either Muhyiddin sit down there or his deputy sit down there. And he must empower his deputy to sit down there. Otherwise, we shouldn't entertain. I will advise Datuk Seri Safii, don't entertain. You know, in that context, don't entertain. Huh? Now, the other thing, a lot of people says that Datuk Safii, suluk lah, PTI lah, and all that. I want to say something with you. We all know Sipadan Island. Sipadan Island was once brought to ICJ to be discussed. Who owns Sipadan? Whether Indonesia, Philippines, or Malaysia. Now, in terms of ownership, very early in that hearing, Philippine claim there was taken out. It was thrown out. So only Indonesia and Malaysia. And how it get to Malaysia is because in 1910, there was a record of a court case where there was a fight among the Suluks there, all right, over turtle eggs. So instead, they settled it through the British court. They brought it to the British court in 1910. And it was decided, because of that court case, it was decided that the British was administering Sipadan. Therefore, Sipadan belongs to Malaysia. Right? This record came from our state archive. Our state archive, not the National Archive, state archive. Now, who was the guy who brought this to the British court? This is the great-great-grandfather of Safii Apdal. So how can you say that he is not a Sabahan? His great-great-grandfather already contributed to Sabah, 1910. My grandfather at that time was still in Brunei. So imagine that. And people still say that he is PTI. It's all nonsense. It's all made up by this group lah, that even uses Malaya. So they uses this also to go and whack. So if you think about it that way, his family has been here for donkey years. I cannot claim 1910, my great-great-grandfather was in Papar. So that's the situation, that's the scenario. We have to, get rid of these people talking nonsense. Huh? No point. Yes, sir. Yes.
As the advisor to the CM on MS63, so please update us on what is the result of the last committee, and then how do you go on? That's the first thing. The other thing is, can you talk a bit, give us a bit insight about the state election coming? Any information that you can disclose?
In terms of the end result?
Your understanding of the situation.
Now, I will go into that election first. My understanding of the situation is simply this. As I said, land is a very simple strategy. It's very close to people's heart. You give them land, they will vote for you. All right? So, you go around Sabah, you have already given land to all the rural folks. Right? So that means there's going to be not just advantage, but people will think twice, to vote for this. He already gave me land, ma. This one gave me nothing, just promises. 300 and 150 ringgit lah, nothing much, all right? I got my land. Now, I can do a lot of things in my land and get more money than that, number one. Number two issue, he has rounded the rural areas. That means he is hitting the KDM. Right? So the KDM now pusing. Mau dengar Jeffrey kah? Mau tengok itu land title. So dia sudah pusing. Then, at the end of it, they bilang, okay, look, the court have already decided that these people should get 999, not 99. At least 5,000 voters there, times 5, one family, 25,000. Already go to his side. All right? Now, ini 25,000, you don't tell me dia tidak ada saudara. Kau kena jackpot, bila satu orang itu dia punya family besar. Big family. Nah, itu sudah on your side. Susah sudah ini. Begitu. So that's why, bukan saja begitu, bukan saja itu. Now, we go and talk. UMNO biasa gerak, pakai duit. Tiada duit, tiada gerak. Kan? Biasa pada orang tuh. Dari dulu. Sekarang tiada duit. Tiada duit, kok geraklah. Zaid is not going to give them any money. No way. Even though he has tons of it. Siapa lagi? Bung Mukhtar. Dia jual kau di jackpot sana. Macam. Siapa lagi? PN. Muhyiddin kau ingat macam dulu-dulu punya kah? Yang hambur saja itu duit. Najib lain lah, dia hambur tu duit. After COVID-19, I don't think Muhyiddin will tabur duit. Sakit dia. So PN tiada duit, UMNO tiada duit. PBS lagi tiada duit. Nah, PCS mungkinlah itu yang projek-projek. Tapi itu projek-projek janji, Pak. Even the one Borneo janji, Pak. Kau dulu bayarlah. Nanti sudah menang, barulah kita bayar kau balik. Mana ada itu. Itu cakap politik. Tiada itu. So, basically this is once in our lifetime, we go to the ballot box without money involved. For the first time. He is not in the fight. no way he will back this unless he is willing to give the presidency to him. Musa ba itu? Itu janji memang boleh, anytime. Kan, anytime. Tapi will it be a reality? Well, most of it is promise money lah. Like Wan Borneo, Pen Borneo and all that. It's promise money. Yes, maybe you have the LOA, but not LOI. So, diorang bilang lah, banyak juga kita punya MP tiada duit. Tiada duit. So, based on that analysis, we look at the situation in Sabah and look at what Shafi'i has done. I think it's more emotional punya election rather than duit punya election. If it's emotional punya election, I think Shafi'i will win hands down. Hands down.
What about the 21 parties and 447 contestants? Is that going to divide the vote, or is that going to have any effect on it?
I don't think so. Because these are people who just wants to go in there. You know? No, they want to be bought. They thought everybody got money. They don't have money. That's why all the contending paper all accepted. Unlike before. Before, you prepare a paper, you may get 10,000, 20,000. Before you even go to the nomination center. This one, because no money, everybody has to go there. That's why we have so many. And if you observe, the areas are so many. Chinese areas, not many. 3, 4, that's all. Sampai 11 tu na. Di Tandik, di Bengkoka. Why? Because they are trying to sell. Once in 5 years punya sale ini. But since nobody has any money, so all the nomination paper accepted lah. Accepted, banyak wanna fight. We watch how many lose deposit. Yang ada 21 sih ada. So that's the scenario. That's the situation. We are involved parliament. For state, no. No more. The next one will be Sarawak. I think Sarawak will have a hard time this round. Because everybody now is watching Sabah. And the way Sabah play is going to be different from what Sarawak can play. Because we play land, it's lease land. If they want to use the same technique, it's NCR land. Kau gila, mati kau di Sarawak. NCR land. Totally different issue. They cannot do. Itulah, they are going to have a lot of problem if they follow our watching. But they get confused, especially Sarawak, they get confused. What is this Sabahan doing?
To give last questions, if there's anything that you would like to ask. Okay, from Penang.
Yeah.
Thank you. We have Malay members as well from Penang, and also we can see that the very different dynamic in terms of social inclusion of the different religious communities and races. And of course, it's quite amazing for us to observe that. And in fact, for Peninsular Malaya, we have issues with religious intolerance, especially being played out by extremist parties. And in fact, our friends here, Muslims, they themselves feel that there is a better and more inclusive society that we can build together for Malaysia. And for that reason, I think this time Sabah can show us the way. Yeah, and also for that reason, we really believe if Sabah, Warisan retain stronger majority, and then next step is really for Dato Sri Palingma to become the PM candidate lah. Yeah, so that is what we are looking forward to.
Thank you. Okay.
Wins, if Warisan wins, how is the whole scenario impacting the whole Malaysia? Yeah, how is Sabah impacting? We all say that this is crucial, it will impact. Give us your thoughts.
Okay. You remember we had this opportunity in 1985. Unfortunately, I don't mind saying it here, we had a coward chief minister then. He did not stand against Kuala Lumpur. He did not do anything. Okay? Shafi is a bit different. I think he is a fighter. Even though he speaks very slowly, but he is a fighter. So meaning to say, KL will not be able to direct us or to, to ask us to do anything that we don't want to do. So that's the difference. And then, because we want the difference to be permanent, by hook or by crook, we have to get the MS-63 realized. Without that, we cannot make this permanent. Only after we make this permanent, then I think our future generation is more secure than what we have here. We must go back to the original document. We cannot just simply adjust it, in accordance to Putrajaya wishes. No. We have to adjust it to our wish and to the spirit and letter of the Malaysia Agreement. That's what we want. So with that, I think we have better future. Now, just to give you a hint, why we cannot get a lot of money for the Rancangan Malaysia since 1970? Is because if Malaya says that we are part of the national plan, this is under the constitution, part and parcel of the national plan, then they give us the money. So that means our Schedule 10, Part 4, Part 5 is not activated. Because this was what, even from Kobol, want this to be our development fund, So since they give us the fund, they won't give us this. But if we want to play this Asian market and all that, we have to detach ourselves from the Rancangan Malaysia. And this is given by the Constitution also, under Article 95E. 95E, subclause 3. Read that. What it says is, to implement Rancangan Malaysia, our TYT must say Sabah is a development area, which we have never done. All right? Never done. Meaning to say, we shouldn't be under RMK 12. if we are not under RMK 12, then we should collect Schedule 10, Part 4, Part 5, without further negotiation. It has already been agreed in 1963. This is what we should have. All you need to do is just give it to us. You know? So, this is what we are also looking for. Because if they give without further negotiation, means we get in Sabah per year at least 20 billion. With 20 billion, we can take over education, we can take over health. You know, we can take over a lot of things. So, we don't need to get medicine from India. We get the best. Right now, we are getting it from India. Those who do hospital review will know. Now they are getting medicine from India. So, all this we can do. Because we are underfunded. Our hospitals are underfunded. Our schools are underfunded. So with this amount of money, it won't be underfunded anymore. They get the best of the best. You know, we don't have 548 schools which are depleted. Okay, 91 found by our JKR to be unsafe. And the federal government can only give us money to repair 21. You know? So why not allow us to do it ourselves for our children? Why do you want to hold us back? No point. So if Muhyiddin wants to discuss, I'm going to discuss this. And let him know that we have the autonomy to do it. Actually, we don't in Malaya.
Okay. So once again, we would like to thank Encik Zainal for giving us this briefing. I think that it's worth to actually to host a few more rounds, because some of the issue that what he mentioned, actually we don't understand what is 95E, what is Schedule 10, what is, if we detach from the development plan, what are the alternative funds that we can, that comes in, and he mentioned about the figure. We can, maybe we have more than, we actually need about 3 billion to run the whole Sabah state. But by getting their fund, it is about 5 or 6 times more. So it would be more sufficient. So, yes, our fund, especially you get from the gas and oil. So I think it's quite interesting. After hearing him, we sometimes do need to ask the questions. Why our government for the last 57 years? What are the obstacles? And why we don't have the courage to demand or to fight for the rights? So we hope that, you want to answer now? Okay.
57 years. It's, you must remember, 15th of May 1969, they started the state of emergency. ISA was effective. I couldn't speak like this if I were at that time. So ISA was there. So there is nothing we can do. Even a person like me, very wanted to do it, but you can't do it. Until the 24th of November 2011, when Najib lifted the state of emergency and he repealed the ISA, then I can start speaking. Now, to give you the evidence that we started speaking is when we sued Petronas on September 2012. We sue Petronas, not because we want to win. We know we cannot win. But we just want to say, hey, look, now I can speak. This is my evidence. I can speak. So there was no judgment on Petronas, what do you call this? We sue Petronas. But it gives them an idea that people from Sabah are already ready to get to them. So we are not scared. We can do it. At that time, I only have 20,000. If I have more, I will continue.
So Jubilee, so we said Jubilee has started. It's a time that a lot of things need to reset. And